Everything you've known so far in life gets thrown out the door when you go to college. It's a whole new ballgame with more freedom, work, and fun than ever before. Balancing this new world is hard, but I've learned from the experiences of myself and my friends. So today, I'm going to tell you exactly what you have to do your first few months of college to be successful. Hey everyone, my name is Hisham Khan and welcome to Income Over Outcome, your go-to source for all the college and career resources that you need. Now, if you've ever ran track or even ran the mile in gym class during school, then you know people who start off sprinting look really good in the beginning and take the lead early on. But eventually, they exhaust all that energy and can't keep that same momentum going. Very rarely do people who jump all in 100% in the beginning actually finish in first place. Instead, those who perform best are those who pace themselves. They might get passed early on in the race, but eventually, saving their energy becomes their biggest asset. They can use it all at the end while everyone else is drained. And that same analogy can be applied to your college journey, and honestly, even life in general. For those of you who are about to start college or started recently, you might be super eager to jump into everything thrown at you all at once in your first semester. But I've noticed a common trend. All the people who try to get super involved early on by joining all of these clubs and trying to get super high grades in their first semester end up getting overwhelmed. And just like the mile, all the momentum they had early on gets drained. So think of your first year of college just like you're running a mile. There's no point of starting off sprinting. Your only focus your first few weeks should be on yourself and getting used to your new life. The sooner you are able to adjust to college, the more successful you're going to be. That might sound obvious, but a lot of people don't really know how to adjust. A lot of people think adjusting means trying to do as much as they can early on, but that's most definitely not the case. In my opinion, the best way to adjust to anything is to first lay a solid foundation. So start off by doing things your first few weeks that you can build on the rest of the year and even throughout the rest of your college career. But what are those things? If I was in college right now, I would start off with my main focus in the first few weeks being to build friendships. I would strike up conversations with people walking around in the dorms and actually talk to the random people sitting next to me in lecture halls. One of the best things you can do when you first start is just say yes to all the invites you get. That way you force yourself to get out there. Most people probably agree with me on the fact that friendships are the key to a solid foundation in college, because once you find your people, it's much easier to adjust to that new college life. Not only are you going to have people to talk to and spend your free time with, but a lot of the people take similar classes freshman year. So you'll have a bunch of people you can actually go to help you with classwork and form study groups. And the beginning of the year is the absolute best time to meet new people because the course load is way lower than at any other point in the year, and people are actually super eager to meet new friends. Now, to be clear, I'm not telling you to go out all the time and party while ignoring all your other responsibilities. But I'm also not telling you to be a homebody and stay studying all day because you're stressing about all your new college level courses. You should take advantage of the lighter course load in your first few weeks to set you up for the kind of social life that you want in college. And as you start building a good group of friends, another thing that's going to take you a really long way is building relationships with your professors. Choose one or two classes that genuinely interest you and try to get to know those professors. Ask them about their work and get to know them on a more personal level. A lot of people don't start doing this until later on in college, but it can really go a long way, especially if later in the semester you run into some snags. And I get that sometimes meeting professors can be intimidating. So what I actually used to do was get a group of friends to go to a professor's office hours together. That way we could all piggyback off of each other and it wasn't as overwhelming. Another reason to focus on building friendships. Plus, meeting professors is going to give you some solid practice networking and talking to people professionally. And if you saw some of my videos like these, you'll know that's a super important skill as you progress in your career. Another thing you need to do to progress in your career is make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss my videos talking about career and college tips. Now, the biggest thing that makes college a difficult transition for a lot of people is the fact that no one is going to tell you how to do anything. You have to figure it out all for yourself. It's not like high school where a lot of teachers are right there with you, telling you when exactly your homeworks are due and when you have quizzes. In college, a lot of professors just give you a syllabus on the first day of class outlining all of your due dates for your homeworks, tests, and other assignments. They won't remind you of those dates until the very last second, if they even choose to remind you at all. So it's totally up to you to manage your own work and figure out what you need to do. What you should do when you first get to college and get your syllabi are make sure you have one calendar with all your due dates outlined. That way, nothing creeps up on you. Some schools already have a system you can log into that does all this for you, but I know a lot of people like to use their own personal calendars on their phones. That way they can get notifications and reminders for when they have to do work. Maybe some classes are more intense and require more time to be dedicated to them than others. Plan out when you want to work on assignments for classes on a daily or weekly basis. It doesn't have to be a super rigid plan by the hour or anything, but you should have some idea of what you want to do every single day. That way you aren't aimlessly working on assignments and have to resort to pulling all-nighters or cramming. And trust me, I messed up a lot in college. All-nighters might sound cool in theory, but in reality, they absolutely suck. They put you off your game and you're absolutely tired the next day. But I learned from my mistakes and turned out just fine. So hopefully you can just take my advice without having to learn the hard way like I had to. Like I said, your plan doesn't have to be super rigid. In fact, a rigid plan probably doesn't work for most people. But I found having a general routine made my life way easier, especially as I had to balance more and more things later on in college. I had a semester in college where I had classes all the way from 8 a.m. until about noon or 1 p.m. After that, I would always take a snack break and then hit the gym. After the gym, I always set some time to focus on schoolwork. Sometimes I only needed an hour, but other days I needed way more than that. But I found that doing a little bit of work and studying every single day is much more sustainable than cramming and trying to get things done all at once. That semester, I always had a bunch of time to myself by the end of the night, and I could spend it however the hell I wanted, whether that was hanging out with friends, watching movies, or doing anything else. But it wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have such an organized routine. A routine is probably the first step to getting good grades in college, but you most definitely shouldn't worry about getting the perfect 4.0 GPA, especially during your first semester. It's a tough pill for some people to swallow, but college is harder than high school, and it's totally okay to get B's. In the long run, when you get a job, your GPA isn't going to mean anything, so it's not worth putting in all this extra effort to get the perfect GPA. Plus, if you mess up early on, like in your first semester, you have so much more time left in college that it'll be easy to correct, and a bad grade in your first semester won't really impact you that much overall. Now, that's not to say it's impossible to get a really good GPA in college. It totally is. But like I said earlier, you have to lay a solid foundation. So before you can strive for that, you have to work to organize your life and yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to be overwhelmed. Another huge mistake people make in the beginning of college is joining too many clubs or student organizations. There's absolutely no need to rush into becoming super involved. Sure, go to some student org events here and there just to meet new people and make friends, but you shouldn't dedicate too much time to these things while you're still adjusting to college. Once you get into the rhythm of things, which is usually during your second semester, then you can take some time to explore all these organizations and which ones you truly want to be a part of. Choose just 1 to 3 organizations that you are genuinely interested in and then become an active member in those. If you do more than that, it'll probably be hard to balance everything. Plus, when you're looking for a job, companies love to see that you have targeted interests and that you can dedicate yourselves to things. You'll have much more impact and be way more fulfilled by joining just 1 or 2 organizations instead of being part of a whole bunch of different things and being spread too thin. So, if you spend the beginning of college focused on building relationships with friends and professors, getting organized, don't focus too much on getting high grades, and don't get overly involved, then you'll set yourself up for a successful freshman year of college. Thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know if you found it helpful. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out some of my other videos because you'll probably like them if you like this one. I'll see you next time, but until then, peace.